So where did English come from? Hello, welcome to Light Linguistics. English, like all languages, hasn't always existed, and it's changed over time. So let's trace it back. Today, we speak modern English, which first showed up on the scene around the 1700s. Before modern English was early modern English, which is spoken from the late 1400s to the 1700s. Some examples of early modern English are Shakespeare and the King James Bible. You can still read it, and it's recognizable as English, but some parts are a little difficult to understand. Before early modern English was Middle English, spoken from about 1066 to the late 1400s. The most famous work of Middle English is Chaucer's Canterbury Tales. One of the main drivers of change from Middle English to early modern English was the Great Vowel Shift, which is a topic for another video. And before Middle English was Old English, spoken from as early as 650 to 1066. A modern English speaker can't natively understand Old English. They'd have to study it and translate it just like any other foreign language. A classic example of Old English is the story Beowulf. But in the year 1066, the Norman invasion of England occurred, which brought in a lot of French influence into English and ushered in the transition from Old English to Middle English. Before Old English, there's no written record of English. But using comparative linguistics, we've reconstructed an ancestor language of German, Dutch, English, Scandinavian languages, and a few other languages. This reconstructed language is known as Proto-Germanic, since it's the reconstructed origin of the Germanic family. And it was probably spoken around the same time as Classical Latin. And linguists have reconstructed an ancestor language of that ancestor language. This ancestor language is called Proto IndoEuropean, since it's the parent language of most languages in Europe and many languages in northern India and Iran. It was spoken about 6,000 years ago, probably in the steppes of modern-day Russia, but it's spread all over the place. So the timeline goes, Proto-Indo-European evolved into Proto-Germanic, which evolved into Old English, which evolved into Middle English, which evolved into Early Modern English, which evolved into what we speak today. And people have written dissertations on every single step of that timeline, so there's a lot more to the story. That's all I have time for today, so like and follow for more language.